Well, digital distribution really changes a lot of the models because the traditional model is done in retail, where they have the box product, they actually produce it, you have an overhead, and then you've got to get it out to the retail chains where it's going to be sold. Some of the problems come into play when you've got a lot of the market trends that have been going on, where some of the stores aren't willing to take on that much inventory or take the gamble on it. So it can tend to shortchange people who are trying to actually get a hold of the software. Major retail outlets are shortening their PC type of lines of where they're at. And so people simply, it doesn't change the fact that they want the titles, it just makes it more difficult for them to get it. So, and as it's already been shown, even with music and video, the bottom line, if somebody wants something, they're going to get it. Okay, and they'll pirate it or do whatever it takes. It doesn't mean that people are criminals, it just simply means that they want to get it. Okay, they really don't care how they acquire it. Most likely, most people would rather pay for it. But if they can't get it by that means, then they're going to do what they need to. And so now digital distribution changes that because you're never out of product. It's always easy to get a hold of. It's readily accessible. And honestly, you're basically talking about the same timelines as when it hits the piracy boards. So, and that's really what you're fighting against. It's just like any other medium because if most of your sales is going to happen within the first couple of weeks. Okay, and if you don't make your product available, they're going to get it in some other means, but they will get it within that first couple of weeks. And so in digital distribution, they have to wait for the entire title to be downloaded. So our play into the market for how it changes it is that the people who are impatient or don't want to wait, we basically give them the ability to, instead of taking 4, 5, 6 hours to pull that content down, they can pull down just a fraction of it and be playing within 10, 15, 20 minutes, which falls right in line with the patience level of a lot of people. Because they're looking at doing something, they think it's great, it's fantastic, I want to try it out now, and then they look and they go, oh, 4 to 6 hours. Yeah, there's a lot I can do in 4 to 6 hours, but not wait for a game to download. And so that's where we come into play. And the publishers and developers love us because we don't get involved in the development cycle. We're not a part of what they need to do just to get it running. We get a final piece of code, and we turn it into a streaming title, and then it goes out. For starters, be a good game. Actually have entertainment value. Some of the best games in the world didn't have all the best graphics in the world. They were just simply fun to play. Any given gamer will tell you that, come on. Retro games, people still love them. Why? They're still fun games. So what? They don't have the most modern looking graphics. They were fun. And that is the main perspective. So when people stop focusing on all the glitz and fanciness and all the other garbage, and they focus on making a game that's actually fun with return entertainment value, that's when you've got yourself a game to play with. That's one of the perspectives of it. That's realistically. And then, of course, it comes back to accessibility. If it's too difficult or too much of a barrier or pain for me to get to, if I got to pull a game down and then pull down 40 patches behind it, it's probably not worth my time. Okay? I don't have the patience for that. Most people don't have the patience for that. You know what I mean? Well, digital distribution is definitely where everything's moving toward. There's a lot of frustration, with retail, and you're fighting this never-ending battle against people who are ghosts, who can actually give better distribution out to any point, almost where it's free. And so, how do you catch a ghost? You're going to have to compete at some level. This is really kind of the replication of what we've seen in the music and the video industry. Everybody was crying and screaming that, oh my God, they're going to steal music and we're never going to be able to sell it ever again. Last time I checked, I thought iTunes is the #1 retailer of music. Wasn't that an online digital distribution method? So the bottom line is, people will pay for content. They want it, and digital distribution is the means to make it happen. The pipes are getting faster, the people are getting more connected. The generation is coming up that is used to doing it this way. Okay, those of us that are not yesterday, but that are where we are now, we're used to going to the store, picking something up, okay? But the generation that's coming up now, they're used to finding everything on the internet, okay? That's where it's at. The stores are kind of like a pain because you actually have to go there. It's actually a lot better to just be able to go and browse what you want and go do something else while you're talking to 50 of your friends on, Facebook or whatever. So you have to look at it from that perspective. So digital distribution absolutely is where things are going. There's no question about it. And at this point, the only battle that you really have to fight about it is the patience level now. Because let's face it, people are really kind of shortening their patience time for how long they're going to take to pay attention to something. If your web page takes too long to load up, they're going to move to the next page. So if you're suggesting a game that's going to take more than 20 minutes to get engaged in, there's a good chance they're going to move to something else. You know, long enough for them to say, begin, get up, use the restroom, get something to eat, come back with a soda, sit down. If it's not even halfway done, that thought just passed. The anticipation will keep them riding, but it better be a short-term anticipation. And that's how we come into play. That's bottom line. For companies that are trying to get titles sold, it comes down to penetration rate. And to get that pen rate, you need to get them into the title now, not forever. Downloads are great, but there are so many times somebody will download it, and what happens? It sits as a setup file on their desktop. It's never actually run. But you as a company still paid for all those millions of people to pull that down. That was a hard cost that you were never able to monetize. And so you've got to get past those gaps. And those are essential. Those are, we're going to return the money back into the publisher and developer hands to develop more products.